Hey, it's Nelson White here at the podcast studio at 5 North Main. Have a guest with me today, Kevin Jablon, the President and Chief Executive Officer of Spartan Surfaces. I'm smiling and he's smiling over here. Now, I'll get him on camera in a minute, but I want to tell you a little bit about Kevin. I had the pleasure of working with Kevin for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years this January at Spartan Surfaces, and came in to a company that was really, really exciting, really growing like crazy. And the neatest thing of all is they had this entrepreneur who's just over the top and visionary, a guy that can really make dreams come true, to be honest with you. A gentleman that has a personality that's bigger than life, can control a room. I've watched him walk into rooms and just control the room just by saying hello, and has this really amazing ability to get people to keep toeing the line and moving forward. And it's that vision that took him back in 2007, I think, to jump out of a wonderfully successful career in flooring and say, I'm better than that. I can do my own thing. And he started this magical trip with Spartan Surfaces. Took a couple of college roommates and friends, started this thing. And it's that, I really believe it's the vision, Kevin, that you had over the years and your ability to get others to buy into the vision and to want to grow with you and get those people collectively to move is what made you so successful as you moved up with Spartan. And to take it in 2007, a down economy, you really could have failed very quickly. You didn't. We're not surprised. And to do that, as I sit and look at where you've come to today, that ended up in being a tremendous opportunity for you as you grew the organization, that you really had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity come along to sell your business. And again, I knew you for a few years before I joined you, had a little bit of basketball with your son, and you played in a basketball league that we were both part of. And as I look back at that and I think about what happened over those 5-year period, I knew you before I worked for you, but I didn't know you.
Well, worked with me.
I worked with you. But now that I'm so proud to say and call you a good friend. So that those relationships, I know that too often in business, it's business and it's not personal. And you know my whole mantra is kind of it's your walk, right? You walk as you walk. Your business, your personal, it's all together. And we had the opportunity over 5 years of working closely together to develop that. So I'm so proud of you, and I'm so excited for you and your family with all the things that have happened with this great thing and having the opportunity to sell the company, which was not easy. It's your baby. You're giving it up. I get it. But you're still with the organization, and you're going to be there the next 4 years, it looks like. You got a great contract to come back, and I think it's wonderful. So I'm very happy for you. The only downside of that, and I'm smiling because I wasn't smiling a month ago, was that resulted in a position of elimination for me. So that was difficult, but you're here today because I kind of told you what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to do executive coaching, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. And I'm looking to do some things around training. I'm looking to do some things around consulting. And as I thought about that, and I thought about our relationship and what we did, I also popped on you, well, we got this podcast studio, and I want to do some podcasts. And you're the guy, instead of saying, have somebody call me, I'll write you a letter. You're the guy. I didn't ask you. You're the guy that said, I want to do a podcast, and I want to tell people about you.
Yep.
People don't do that, Kevin. So for those of you that are watching and listening in, I don't know if you've ever had a podcast recommendation, ever. This is really freaking cool. I want to be honest. But again, that's you, that's your vision. That's a guy that thinks outside of the box. It's just what makes you successful. So from my family to yours, thank you for an incredible opportunity. Over the 5 years, I did so many different things. And I wish you nothing but continued success as you go along and grow this really Spartan, which is becoming a beast. And it just gets bigger and better. So officially, welcome Kevin Jablon to the podcast studio and to meet with Nelson White today, and I appreciate the heck out of you.
Well, I'm humbled, and I'm going to just put a couple things on. I'm going to clarify a couple different things that you said.
Okay.
First of all, I did have a really good career before I started Spartan. I tell you, I was too dumb to know how difficult it was going to be when I jumped ship from corporate America to start Spartan, because darn, it was really, really difficult. I think to the outside world, we might make it look easy. I haven't slept in 15 years. The other thing is, Floor and Decor, who purchased Spartan, which definitely did change my family's life, and I do have a 4-year contract. I see myself there indefinitely. This has been such an incredible integration and experience. I feel like I'm still an entrepreneur. I'm just an entrepreneur under a really big umbrella, and they're letting me be an entrepreneur. So the first 6 months has been amazing. And then all the nice accolades that you said to me, I could sit here and repeat them right back to you. You've been a friend well before you joined our company. We were both sort of confidants in each other's lives, personally and professionally. Sidebar: the best basketball coach my kids have had.
Thank you.
I will give a shout out to Jeff Burrows too. He was pretty darn good.
Pretty good.
But I would tell you, you helped shape my children.
Thank
right?
you. It means a lot.
So I knew when I was looking to expand Spartan, and you were in a position where you were looking to make a career change, I knew there was a level of structure and life experiences. I started Spartan when I was 34 years old. You joined the company when I was 43. I knew that even though I was 43 years old, I just hadn't had the life experiences that you had had. I hadn't had the business experience, everything you've done from AV to food service. You had a lot of experience, and I was looking for that maturity in the building. Because even though we were 8 years old, I think when you joined the company, I'm not positive, Adam would know, but I think we were about a $50 to $60 million company.
I think you told me, yeah, 60.
But we were acting and operating like we were still a $10 million company. And I knew we had to grow. I just didn't necessarily know how to do it in terms of putting the processes and the people in place. So what attracted me to you was your integrity and your experience.
I appreciate that. It was fun. It truly, and I think it hits home when I think about, people would say, you got a $60 million, you're operating like 10. Golly, you guys were just flying. Yeah. And I mean flying high. It was an outside inside. You had this unbelievable sales force. The inside didn't have we didn't have HR per se. We didn't have some of the procedures.
We didn't have HR.
Okay, we didn't have
Let's
HR.
be honest. We were all walking HR nightmares.
We did have a few of those.
Yes.
We did have a few of those. And I think it was, but that's naivety, right? When you think about business, you don't, as you're growing so quickly and your business is just flying, if you really don't have anybody designated that you're saying, hey, can you do me a favor? Go sit over there in the corner, so to speak, and look at this stuff and really make sure that it's being taken care of, then you don't have somebody, right? And what I loved about that is, and I don't know how many people know this, and you and I talk about it off mic all the time, right? Your job, let's just use any entrepreneur, true entrepreneur, right? Everybody says they're an entrepreneur. True entrepreneur owns a large business, small business, medium, I don't care what size it is. You are the top. There is nobody above you. Who do you have to talk to?
That's a good question.
What did you find? Where do you go?
It's difficult. I would tell you that for me at the time, I didn't even know concept of executive coaching. I'd just joined YPO, so that was amazing, but it really hadn't really started to benefit from it at the time. And I think what happens is you get so caught up in meeting bank covenants and your P&L and your top line sales and talent acquisition and growing the business and maintaining a culture that you don't really focus on yourself. So there's really you're not really focused on personal growth. So at the time, I didn't really have anywhere to go. It's hard to talk to the people you work with because no matter what, they're coming at it from a perspective of how it affects their families. So as much as you want to be selfless and put the business first, I've been an employee before where it hasn't been my business. First and foremost, I'm worried about how every decision is going to affect me and my family. I wish I would have been that selfless in my prior career. No, because Spartan was mine, it was one of the same. Spartan and my family became very much one of the same. If it was good for Spartan, I thought it was good for my family. What I didn't realize is sometimes that were good for Spartan wasn't great for my family. So to answer your question in a long-winded way, I think entrepreneurs, CEOs that don't have a coach, that don't have a board, it's difficult. And I think even if you do have a board, the board is 100% focused on the health of the business, not the health of the CEO, personally and professionally.
Great point.
So for me, the best basketball player in the world, Michael Jordan, needed a coach. I think every CEO needs a coach. I would take that to my grave.
Got it. What I found unique, maybe it's not, or interesting, I would say, and maybe this might come around to YPO because I see YPO and working with you as you got involved in that, I could see a difference, right? But prior to YPO, when I first started, maybe the first year or two, and you weren't yet, as you said, involved. Man, I said some stuff to you that you could have said, get the frick out of here, dude. Right? Like I don't know if you remember. I mean, I'm saying stuff like, why are you letting that happen? Yep. And I didn't start by saying, why are you letting it happen? I start by asking, hey, can you help me understand why we're doing this? Can you help? But then it was still going. I'm like, I'm challenging you, right? What was awesome was you didn't do don't tell me what we're going to do. Don't give me this. Now, were there times, I'm sure, and there were times you're like, hey, we'll talk about that later. Like, I got it. But you always wanted to know, what are you seeing? What am I missing? I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I've heard you say it a million times. You always say that, but you really are in so many ways, okay? But you listened.